It's the Critical James Theory, yo. Just so look at the Critical James Theory, yo.
Hey, this looks a little different, no? Yes. Welcome back to another episode of Critical James Theory. I'm, of course, James Knight, and today is an OG episode. Today's a solo dolo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you've been rocking with me for a little bit, you remember when I used to do only these in my friend's basement. But we're back. I had a comedian cancel on me last minute and reschedule, so hopefully they'll be back this weekend. If not, hey, the world still turns. I've got my notes over there like a professional in like fucking 72 fonts so I can see them from over here because not because of age, I'm blind, always have been. First and foremost, I don't do this enough when I have a guest here because I'm so focused on talking to them. But I just want to give a thank you to the 2024 of you who are still subscribed to this YouTube channel. It was like at less than 2,000, not even a couple of months ago, and I don't know, like this YouTube thing is weird. It's like I'll get like a gang of subscribers, and then like one by one they'll just start disappearing because I guess they're starting to learn who I really am as a comedian, and they're like, no, thank you. But those of you who are still here, still rock with me, thank you. Do me a favor and share this out. Tell your friends. Tell someone who you think might be interested in the comedians talking to other comedians. I know there's a billion of these out there. But mine, I'd like to think is a little different, a little bit unique. Less white people, that's for sure. But that'll soon come to an end. I'm supposed to be having my first white on the show. So, well, technically it already happened, but MJ wasn't on the show. It was here via satellite, so it doesn't really count. What's new? Still unemployed. Hey, subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/criticaljamestheory. I haven't been posting there recently because no one's subscribing. So I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg, which came first thing. I don't know. I don't know if I'm not getting subscribers because I'm not putting anything on there, or I'm not putting anything on there, so I'm not getting subscribers. I don't know, but I'll think of something. But I am confident going forward. I'm taking this time to focus on the channel and focus on comedy to see if I can get this ball rolling for real as a career, which is a crazy thing to say. But I also am looking for some part-time work. So got the feelers out there. My friend Alec, who eventually will maybe be on or involved in the show some sort out in California, he's been going through the same plight as I have with unemployment around the same time too. And I got like some good news yesterday. He had interviewed with a company, a media company out in Burbank, California. I think they're Warner Brothers out there, and he is he got some good news. This is a potential. You know, like he's got one of those messages where it's like somebody on the inside was like, hey, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but, you know, we're working on an offer for you. Just keep this between you and me. And like reading that one of my best friends who's been going through the same exact, he's like a brother to me, who's been going through the same exact plight as I am. Someone who I check in with weekly to commiserate and talk shit about the workforce and art and all this other stuff, to see that happen for him gives me the confidence to keep going because, man, it is fucking rough out here. It's depressing because, you know, so long we're like taught that our self-worth is what we do, and if we don't do anything, quote unquote, if we don't have a job, if we're not involved in the workforce, then like you don't have any money and therefore you can't do things, and then you know it messes with your confidence and your self-worth, and it's an awful way of being in America or in anywhere, but it is what it is in America. And yeah, knowing that one of my best friends got out of that same rut that I am in gives me hope to keep on going. So I don't know what keep on going means. I don't know if that means a day job. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm trying some things, you know. This shit isn't easy. But I cried tears of joy. I don't remember ever having cried tears of joy in a long time. I think the last time that I cried legitimate tears of joy was when I got cast on an improv team for the first time when I was just about to quit comedy. And that was maybe in like 2016. Yeah, that was when I remember I read that at my shitty job I was doing IT work at a warehouse that is no longer in existence because fuck that place. Yeah, I remember outside reading that email that I was gonna get cast, and I was gonna get casted on that team, and I cried tears of joy. So shout out to Alec, shout out to Job, shout out to work. Keep your head high. If you're going through the same thing, if you're out there unemployed too, just keep your head high. Keep putting the pen to pad. Keep working. Keep going. Keep trying. Something will happen for you. I'm losing weight. That's what I've been doing since I've been unemployed. I've been working out. My friend Alex, also roommate Alex, had bariatric surgery and is losing a lot of weight. And it's been inspiring to me also. And I'm down. I think my heaviest, I was like, not this year, but like my heaviest when my dad was dying was like 370 something. But right now I am at 350. So I've lost maybe like I'm down like 10 pounds, 15 pounds since I started this thing. So like the goal is to be under 3. My God, the goal is to be out of 3. Like, you know, I don't know these people, but like you've seen like Mr. C died of like diabetes complications. He was a fat guy. Fucking Dallas Penn died today. R.I.P. Dallas Penn, a legend on the internets, a podcast legend, a hip hop legend, a fucking polo legend, New York legend. Died today. I don't know how or why. Gonna assume it had something to do with being overweight. You know what I mean? Like you can always kind of track things down. Not always, but you can usually, like if a motherfucker is fat, there's a Ron Funches joke that goes like he wanted to lose when he was fatter, he wanted to lose weight because he had never seen a fat old person. And that kind of stuck with me. You don't really see fat old people. Like old. Like you might see like, you know, auntie or uncle that's like 40-something, 50-something, but like that's not old. I'm talking about in their 70s. They don't exist because it just, being fat just doesn't help anything when you get old, up in age. And yes, I'm fat shaming. Yes, if you're fat, stop. Self included. But yeah, rest in peace, Dallas Penn. I'm going to go to the gym after this. What's been going on? I'm going to try to make this one of those OG, like, it's not going to be an hour. A good God. What do I have in my notes? Kendrick and Drake is a thing. I used to get a lot more hype about rap beefs and rap battles. And I don't think it has to do with age. I think it has to do with like the level of corn. Like it's just, I think it's corny. Like it's teetering on corny. Don't get me wrong. Like I still listen and the bars still go hard, but like it's the Drake and Kendrick thing stopped being. I think with the recent release of Kendrick's newest diss, I think it's called Euphoria, and I think I don't know. I think it's partially due with him and partially to do with how the internet works. It's going into less of a bar for bar thing and more of a light skin versus a dark skin thing, which I hate to see because it's such a tired trope. You know, I was talking to somebody, another comedian, about this, about light skin, dark skin jokes. He's a dark skin guy, a dark skin comedian, and I remember saying like, now they are funny, but those memes where it's like a dark skinned guy on the Instagram or something, and he's like, light skinned niggas answer the phone like this, and he'd be laying on their stomach, and like the dark skinned guy will be laying on his stomach, kicking his feet in the air, talking about what you doing. Like that's the joke where it's like, light skinned dudes skate like this, and they skate like, excuse me. Like it's always them doing some of the they're always the dark skinned person on Instagram is always perpetuating that the light skinned guy is being effeminate and doing something. But the irony in those Instagram jokes is that the light skinned guys are never doing these things. It's actually the dark skinned guy who's trying to make the joke about light skinned guys. It's actually the dark skinned guy who's doing the thing, doing the effeminate thing, filming himself doing the effeminate thing that he's accusing the light-skinned guy of. So if anything, nigga, we both gay. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? It doesn't absolve you from literally doing the thing you're making fun of and recording it. You know? And I think this is kind of this is kind of what the Drake Kendrick thing has become, honestly, because Kendrick had some fire bars, but he also sparked a thing about revoking Drake's N-word pass. Like, we don't want to hear you say nigga no more. That's how he ends the song. And man, that as someone who's half black and also half white, the more I could see why he did that, because I'm not gonna lie, like anytime Drake has said the N-word, it bothers me a little bit. And this is from someone who's had, like, I remember when I was, I don't know, I had to be in single digits, maybe like 10 at the most. And I remember we're no longer friends, but I was at a childhood friend's house. Him and his sister, he was my best friend when I was a kid, and him and his sister Janae lived with their grandfather and grandmother, and everyone in that house, it was like being in the house with 4 Paul Moonies. You know what I mean? Like, they just said, nigga, so much in that house. It was so funny to me. And I didn't come from a house that said, my mom doesn't say it. My dad, of course, doesn't say it because he's white, but my mom doesn't say it, really. So it was never a thing in my house. And I remember there being a specific moment where I said, like, I was just laughing at him, and I was like, man, you guys say that a lot. That's very, very funny. And I don't remember if it was him or if it was his sister. I think it was both of them to some degree. Told me, nigga, you can say that shit too? You black? And I knew I was black. Obviously, my mother instilled in my blackness in me since I can remember. But hearing them say that unlocked something in me. And I haven't been the same since. You know? But also there's an art to saying it. Like, you can't, you know, there's going to be some people who don't think I should say it. And I understand that. And depending on how you address me, you know, I can adjust to the room. I don't have to say it, but naturally I do say it. And niggas don't mind. Because I don't question my blackness. So neither should you. And I think that Drake comes off very insecure in his blackness, which Kendrick feels and senses. So, and a lot of times, a lot of mixed kids aren't confident in their blackness because, if we're being honest, the majority of mixed people have black dad, white mom. And even though I joke about it in my act, chances are, black dad, white mom, dad's probably not around. That's don't get mad at me. Get mad at the 80s and 90s. Okay? Don't get mad at me. I'm sure mixed kids now, I see them on Cheerios commercials and Kicks and all kinds of Band-Aid commercials with the black dad, white mom, and I get it. But the 80s and 90s, a little different. Believe me, I know. So I get that mixed kids who grew up with white mothers, Drake, case in point, might not have a strong sense of black identity because they didn't have a black woman instilling that in them like, let's say, I did. So I'm sure Kendrick knows that and decided to pick on that. Like, there's no way that Kendrick can police whether or not Drake can say it or not. There's literally no way, right? Because like it or not, half white or not, Drake is black. So, but he does sound weird saying it because he's Canadian and he grew up with a white mom. It's going to be weird. So I'm interested to see how he responds to that, if at all. I feel like he has to. Once someone questions your black card, your African American Express card, once someone questions that, you kind of have to fight or something. You got to do something because, you know, I don't know. You just can't let somebody tell you, like, if you are also black, you can't tell somebody who is also black they can't say the word that but only black people can say. I get why he said it, obviously, but I'm interested to see how it responds. I'm how Drake responds. I'm interested to see it. And also stop the light skin versus dark skin shit. We all black. Shut up. And also light skinned women. Start dating light skinned dudes too. It's fine. Don't think you just got to go completely the opposite. Stop with the colorism. I like light skinned girls too. All right. And just because you date or marry a dark skinned guy doesn't mean your kid's going to come out not light skinned. All right. There's a very, very strong chance that child's also going to come out light skinned. And two light skinned people can also make a dark skinned child. DNA's weird. Take a chance. Not me just pleading the light skinned women to like me. Why is my Instagram algorithm, showing me? I'm gonna show a couple of things over here. Like, what is this? What is this nigga doing? What is this? This is the internal chess boxing. I think it's called. It'll be right here or whatever. But it's just some older black dude doing pseudo karate in his basement, and he is god awful at it. Please go. You know, I want to. No, maybe he's not awful. Maybe he's amazing at it. I don't want to disparage the guy's art for. Maybe he's amazing. I want to actually have him on the show if I can get him here. This guy's amazing. I want to have him teach me some moves. Wonder who else I could get on the show. I bet you. I wonder if I could get Girthmaster on the show. Girthmaster is trending now. He's like a corn star, a white corn star that's in the algorithm now, who I think has like a human teenager-sized arm, dick, hence the name Girthmaster. No, I will not look at it. But I'm sure I watch enough porn. I'm sure I've seen it and not known. But that makes me think of having mutuals with a male porn star is crazy. Like, I remember in the early 2000s, I was messing around with a woman who was about my age now, late 30s. And I was, 22, 23? Yeah, so over 10 years. And I remember she had come over to my, I don't know where she must have been around. Maybe she worked in the area. I don't know. But she was around my area, and I had happened to be home from school. And, I was still living at home. My parents were both at work. And I was feeling apparently very risky. And I invited her over, and I had a porno on my computer playing when she came over, because I knew what it was. Like, she and I had a very specific relationship. Okay, so I had a porno on, and I had a black porno on, and she walked in as we were getting ready to get down, get down. What am I, 50-year-old fucking from the 70s? As we were getting ready to fuck, she looked over at the screen and she was like, "Oh, that's Rock." Huh? What do you mean that's Rock? I know that's Jasmine Cashmere, but you know the dude's name? That's very odd, especially in the early 2000s, to know a male porn star's name. If it wasn't like Wesley Pipes or like Mandingo or like, what's the other nigga name that looked like Lloyd Banks? Fuck, I can't remember his name, but like that guy, or like there was a dude named John E. Depth. There was Mr. Marcus, like guys like that. Lexington Steele. But like there was also like the B players. Like you didn't really know them, but they were in the scenes that you watched. And she was like, "Oh, that's Rock." And I was like, "You know him?" And she was like, "Yeah, I used to fuck with Rock." I was like, "Fuck, like you mean fuck with like homies, or you fucked Rock?" She's like, "No, we used to fuck." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And what that did was the inverse of what you would think that would do. That boosted my confidence through the roof. I was like, that guy, he's got a fucking hammer on. He's got a hog on him, boy. And you fuck with me. All right, I'm in the house. I'm in the building, baby. Like, talk to me. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Humbly, respectfully, humbly. You know what I'm saying? If you fuck with that and you fucking with me, I'm patting myself on the back. You doing all right, kid. Shit. Wow. This has been fun. We got some upcoming episodes with some very funny comedians coming up, so please support those episodes. I made sure that they look the best that they can. Trying to get some new equipment. So please make sure that you support the Patreon, support If you can't do that, just please subscribe to the YouTube channel and share and like and all that stuff. So trying to monetize this channel. What else? Might have a new show in the works that'll be strictly Patreon exclusive with comedian Che Guerrero. We might Guerrero. We might. I don't know. We're still in talks about it, but if it happens, you'll be the first to know. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here, man, because I'm not doing this for an hour. This was fun though. This was a nice little experiment. I'll try to do more of these. But until then, I'm gonna end it like I always do. Shout out to Drake. Bye, niggas.
Well, just sound luck, hit the critical James theory. Hit the critical James theory, yeah. Just start luck, hit the critical James theory, yeah. Hit the critical James theory, yo. Just sound luck, hit the critical James